Hello, hello, and welcome to Tapping Tuesday. My name is Fable, and for the next hour, we are going to do EFT together, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, also known as tapping. Tapping. So, if that's what you're here for, congratulations, you made it. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it is not your first time here, welcome back. I'm so glad to get to spend this time with you. I'm going to give you just a quick rundown of how it works because it's a little bit different format than maybe what you've experienced before. And then we'll get right into the tapping. So, since we are not sitting face to face to each other, there are a few things that are a little bit different. One is the content, right? How do we have conversation between us? Well, I do have a live chat that goes the entire time. And at any time, you can put a suggestion in of what you would like to tap on today. It largely is organic. Every single Tuesday, we as a community come together and we decide what it is that we need to release or support together. You do not have to put anything in the chat. I will also give you opportunities to consider how to adjust something. So, say we pick a subject that doesn't quite fit where you are right now, that's okay. There are ways that you can shift the words that I'm choosing to be empowering for you and your body and your current experience. Another difference that you'll notice is that I don't go through the tapping spots hardly ever. And there are two main reasons for this. One, I want to be as boring as possible. And something that can be easy in a one-on-one session that is difficult in like a group scenario or in something like this where I can't see your face, is the cadence is different than what you might choose. So I may go, maybe I go really fast through the tapping spots, and for you that feels rushed and hurried and doesn't feel good for your body and your energy. Or maybe I stay in one spot for a really long time, and you're going, oh my gosh, my chin is going numb, and you want to move on. I want to give you the empowerment to do that. So just because I stay on typically this spot or this spot, that doesn't mean I expect you to follow me on that. I want you to listen to your own body. Also, maybe you have some restrictions. Maybe you have glasses that you wear, and so that makes these spots, difficult to reach. You can use all the others. Maybe the mobility of your arm is difficult, and getting up here is hard. What I want you to gain is confidence and how tapping works for you and your body. So I'm still here as a guide. I'll tap in case you get lost and you got to come back to center. I am here to support you in that. Otherwise, I want you to tap through the spots in the ways that it feels good for your body. And the second point on that is the reason why that is okay. Because when we are addressing EFT specifically, one acupoint is enough. So as long as we know we're on the right spot and we're tapping in, the way that clinical EFT has taught us, that is still giving the signal that the brain needs in order to process what else we're offering to it. Each acupoint does have its own benefits. That goes into the traditional Chinese medicine side of things. So all the spots are great. But if you, for some reason, can't use them all or don't use them all, you can still have a full clinical EFT release with the process as long as you're using a acupoint. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Oh, if you have a suggestion that you want to share, but it just feels too vulnerable for you to put it out there in front of the entire world, you can always email me, and then I will get that email throughout the week. We can have a conversation about whatever it is, and I can bring it up anonymously the following Tuesday so that you still have community support. You still get to see how to incorporate it into a tapping session, and still maintain that safety that we want you to have. That it actually is a really necessary part of clinical EFT. You should never bully yourself into healing. So anything that feels unsafe, that it goes against our efforts here to push on that. It's okay to have emotional responses to things. Certainly, you're going to have things come up attached to what you're tapping on, but it shouldn't be caused because of the fact that you're pushing yourself to engage. All right. I think those are all of my main points that we usually go through. If I think it's something else, and I'll interject it, interrupt myself as we go. I'm going to say hi in the chat really fast, and then we'll do a quick grounding to just be as present as possible, and we'll get right into tapping. Hi, Dr. Scott. It's good to see you here too. Thank you. Hi, Erin. Hello, Joyce. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be back as well. It's always sad for me when I miss a Tuesday tap. Hi, David. Good to share awareness. Um, Serena, hello. I still don't have internet at home. I'm at a library. It was awkward. Yeah, I bet. You're very brave for doing that. It's definitely a good time to try the covert tapping. There's another word for it, but I can't remember it right now. I hope it works out for you. Thank you for making that effort to be here. Hi, Blast Scout. Just got home from the dentist. I'm glad you're here too. Hopefully, you're not in pain and you had good results from that appointment. Serena, home is it the right word? Where I currently am. I understand. Hi, Danette. Yay. I'm happy you're here too. Alrighty. I do have a couple of community emails and really good points as well. I'm actually going to bring those up before we get grounded because I always feel like that's a little disjointed when we get all set to tap and then I keep talking. So I will figure out what I'm doing with my email. Oh, that's why it's not working. Okay. Different email box. And let's see. Alrighty, we have a community member who's talking about being so overwhelmed, this particular person being overwhelmed with grief, that they don't have enough access to their faculties to just maintain life. That there are things happening that I'm guessing normally would not have happened if they were just not so overcome by this grief, and wanting to know, is there something I could do to tap for that? And I want to discuss that. And they kind of tie into each other a little bit, and so that's why I'm going to read them both and then discuss where I think it could help with everyone at large today. Um, is this other community member is having a problem with stress, contesting in their mind a whole lot, also labeling it as anxiety. They're trying a ton of techniques, and it seems to get worse at certain points of their process. Their what's the word I'm looking for? The routine, um, and they're looking to use clinical techniques to create long-lasting change for results that had like fleeting moments of, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I'm overcome with this in my life. So help me fix it. Help me fix it with tapping. And I love this because I want to make a very important distinction that I feel like is one reason why clinical EFT is so much more effective, because of the understanding that comes along with the training of clinical EFT. Because EFT itself is simply, is very simple. That's what I meant to say. It's pretty straightforward, right? But then how to apply it matters so much, and what your brain understands, what perspective you're going for, to reach your success. Your brain needs to understand what you want to do with this car. You can get in the car, but then what do you do with it? Where do you go? And I feel like for both of these community members, they're experiencing really big events that are just hard, period. And while EFT can absolutely assist and support, it's still going to be hard, and this can come from a place of, oh, it's me, I'm wrong. If I just fix myself, then everything will be okay. And there's so many places where that root can take hold, and it can then kind of mask when there's an actual legit reason for these things to be happening. Like, there are really good reasons to have a lot of anxiety right now. There are really good reasons to be overwhelmed. There are really good reasons to have a lot of grief in your life when you're having to let go of someone passing from a natural process, and you can't do anything to change that. Like, that is a really good reason to be feeling all of that overwhelm and intensity. And the way to apply EFT to help with that is to get your nervous system and your brain to acknowledge it's real. This is hard. This is heavy. This is a lot, and it's real. But do we need to carry it in this way? But is it possible to feel differently at this time? Is there a way for it to adjust over here? Rather than I shouldn't be feeling this heavy, or there is a way for me to, if I knew better, if I understood more, if I was better trained, if I was just enough in some way, then this wouldn't be so bad. Because that puts so much more pressure on you as a person who's already underwater so much because of this bigness that you're experiencing. So I love that we get an opportunity to maybe address that today, to help you understand how to support yourself when you're in a space that makes a whole lot of sense to be in. And maybe there's a medical intervention, maybe there's, a process of time and just an unfolding of things. EFT can help as long as you understand in what way. Okay. Whew. All righty. Let's go ahead and get grounded. I saw the chat move just a touch, so I'm going to double check on here. I'm trying to sound out your name. Maheshta? Mahesh Taylor? I see that it's your first time here. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. If you want to phonetically spell out your name for me so that I can properly address you, I would be very grateful for that. Otherwise, no, I am doing my best. And I'm really grateful that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Joy. I'm sick and it scares me. Can you help with that? Love that. I hope that the explanation that I just gave is something that aligns with your question, because I think that could actually help a lot. Hi, Karen. I'm having a breast biopsy for second possible cancer on Thursday. I'm imagining you all in a circle around me. Oh, I love that. Absolutely. I'm 100% there for you, Karen. And I'm so glad that you're here. And I don't know if you just heard the explanation that I gave with the community emails that I've received, but I think it too could really match with what you're experiencing. And please let me know if you're comfortable with it. Let me know the outcome. Oh, Zarina, thank you for the support you're offering. Hello, Betty Ballerina. About anxiety of the fear of the unknown and change. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that suggestion. Hello, Lit Live. Hi, Greg. Glad to have you here. All righty, let's go ahead and get grounded. And for getting grounded, you see that I'm kind of like lifting myself up. I wasn't necessarily uncomfortable, but I'm giving my body the opportunity to let me know that it would have a preference. Because sometimes especially if we're overwhelmed and we're frozen, it's really easy to forget. And it's really easy to dismiss having any sort of priorities that could feel a little bit better if we just allowed it. So go ahead and just adjust in your seat, whether it's you turn sideways a little bit, maybe lean back for a second. If you've got your legs crossed, uncross them for a second or fold your arms. And all we're doing right now is moving our bodies, and not in any way to, we're not rotating anything. We're not stretching. Just looking, what's comfy. Is this better? Is this nicer? Do I feel a bit of relief when I do this? What if I leaned forward and rested my head on my hands? Does this feel better? Nope, I don't like that. Okay, so better. Just your own shifting. Just kind of move your body around and just notice. I usually end up crossing my legs and then I uncross them because they fall asleep. So I think I will stick to my usual routine. And as you're moving your body and just looking for those little bits of feedback of it saying, yes, this, no, that. Let's go ahead and take a breath right now. And out. Good. And just breathe normal. And as you're breathing, I want you to notice the feedback that your body's getting from what you're sitting on or what you're laying on, or if you're standing. What amount of pressure are you feeling, and on what parts of your body? Like if you were drawing a diagram of like the spots that are supporting you right now, what would that look like? Would it like little circles, like where your glutes are, and then maybe little circles, or maybe ovals, like where your thighs are. I'd have little spots where where my feet are resting underneath me. Where is that? Where do you feel that connection point where that pressure is happening? And just notice it. That's all we're doing is noticing. Let's go ahead and take another breath. And out. Now let's notice how strong our spines feel. Now, it sounds a little bit weird, but does your spine feel stiff? Like immovable, like it's overly stiff? Um, does your spine feel like cooked spaghetti? That's usually mine, where it feels like you're trying to do like a forward roll or something. It's just not wanting to engage, so it's kind of slumped over. Is it feeling kind of both at the same time, where you've got looseness and tightness, kind of where it's maladjusted? Or is it feeling pretty good? And actually, when you focus in on it, you can feel like pretty solid about. And we're just noticing again. And you can laugh about it, you can have feelings about it, but we're not changing anything. We're just noticing. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and out. And finally, let's take our hands and place them on our bodies. I like to go over my heart. You can go anywhere you want. It could be on your shoulders, it could be on your belly, it could be somewhere on your head. I know this can be a really popular position to hold. And as you put your hands on your body, notice inward how your emotions are. And how would you know that anyway? Well, because you're feeling it somewhere in your body. What are you feeling? Aside from physical responses, what emotional responses is your body telling you? And where in your body? So kind of do a scan, maybe start with wherever you're holding and go outwards. So for me, that would be my chest, my abdomen, through my arms, through my legs, up the back, my neck, my head. Just notice what emotions are there. Let's take one more breath here. And out. Okay. Now, in being in this present moment, it might feel uncomfortable because you might have a lot going on and you had a reason for kind of being dissociated. If it feels better for you to dissociate, that's okay. I want you to know that tapping is still effective. In fact, we have a clinical EFT technique that we intentionally dissociate until we feel safety. So that is natural and good for you to do, for you to recognize. So know that it's okay to allow that to happen. Let's see. Understanding where the sensation is impulsive. Car won't start. Oh, sorry to hear that, Greg. Thank you, David, for your comment. I love the spine awareness. I'm always learning more about. Oh, nice. I'm glad that was helpful. Hello, Lou. Freezing cold in Southern Ontario. I hope that your heart is warmed here. Alrighty. Let's jump into, I think I want to go into what I mentioned, what I was explaining from the two community emails. I just feel like it's really applicable from what a lot of you have said here right now. So in choosing something that you're going through right now that's really big, and you don't have to connect to all of the feelings of it. You can think of it as, writing it down on a flat piece of paper. You're considering it from way over there, and whatever way it feels possible, it feels okay, manageable. There's a good word. It feels manageable for you to consider it right now. Something that you really just want to be fixed. just over and done with and gone. But you don't have that control. It's something that you wish you could do that with, but you can't. So then what can you do? What do you do? And that's what I want to approach with this tapping. So something where you feel it's bigger than you, and you want it to go away. You want to make it better, but you don't feel like you have the ability to do so. So let's go ahead and tap as you consider what that could be. And it could be a situation. It could be a specific person. It could be a memory. Uh, it could be an emotion, something that you're just feeling that you can't connect to one specific event, but the emotion itself is too big. I think that's actually the phrase I'm going to use is too big. This too big thing. If that doesn't quite match, if you have words that feel better for you to use, please substitute out what I'm saying and use the words that feel better for you. It is a wonderful thing for you to have that acknowledgement from your body and important to follow it. Alrighty, let's do this. As I allow myself to safely consider this too big thing that's currently in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, this too big thing, I don't know how to even begin to do anything with it. And even trying makes it more overwhelming. I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And even though right now, when I consider this thing that's far too big, I struggle to feel anything other than hopelessness or helplessness, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Too big. It's too big. It's too big and it's too much. It's too big and I'm too small. I'm too little. I don't have enough left. I'm not strong enough. I don't know enough. I can't keep going like this. Even as I acknowledge these and other statements that feel so heavy, but very true, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, what if? What if I'm right? What if this is too much? What if it is too big? And I don't ever recover. I don't ever make it. I don't ever find it. I don't ever receive what I want. What if it's true that in this case, I just have to accept it? as I consider the possibility that maybe this really just is too big, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I allow myself to feel all of the feelings involved with that. Maybe I'm horrified. Maybe I'm horrified by that thought of this being it. Maybe I feel sad. Maybe I feel scared. Maybe I feel relief. Relief that I could quit trying. Maybe I feel justified. Yeah, I told everyone it was too much. I knew it would be. Any feelings, all feelings that I have surrounding this, I choose to have space for. I choose to acknowledge. I choose to allow them to have value. And I choose to have compassion for them. No wonder this is so intense. No wonder this is so hard. Look at everything that I'm holding. Everything that I'm carrying that doesn't even directly involve the big thing. It's just how I feel about it. I wonder if this is so big, too big, and I feel so heavy, too heavy. Why am I still trying? Why is this something that I'm still reaching through? As I allow myself to consider this question in curiosity and releasing any judgment attached to it, I wonder, what is it that I hold on to that I really hope exists on the other side of this? What is it that I desire that is worth this experience? As I consider what is so valuable, so precious to me, that I choose into pursuing my way through this too big thing anyway. Maybe it's because of love. Because even though there's pain, there's still so much love. And it's okay for me to acknowledge that both exist. Maybe it's because I'm dedicated to being who I am, and I can't control the outcomes of everything else. But some part of me understands I do get to control who I am. And that's important to me. And so I do this because I stay true to me. And maybe it's because I have hope. I have hope that even though it's too big and it's really hard, that as I go, it will change. I will change. I'll get bigger. It will get smaller. I'll connect with others. That where it is right now is not where it will always be. Even if right now, I don't know how, but I have hope. I have trust in that knowledge that things change, that this will too. My reasons, my reasons to continue, my reasons to engage with this thing that is too big. Okay. I wonder, with everything that I'm carrying and everything that I'm trying, is it possible for me to set any of it down? Yes. No. I don't know. Even if right now I genuinely have no idea how I could set anything down or even know how to see it to set down, I hold space to be open to that perspective. And I wonder, how can I set something down? What does that mean? If I don't physically have something in my hand, how can I set something down? Setting it down, letting it go. Maybe what I mean when I say setting it down is I lower the priority of it. I let it have less space because I do have finite space in my body, in my mind. I have finite amounts of time in the day or the night. I have finite amounts of energy. And maybe all of these pieces do have a place, but do they all have a place right now? Like this exact moment? Do all of these pieces have to be played at this instant? Yes. No. I don't know. Maybe I'm worried about putting something down, but maybe I'll forget about it. Maybe I'll do something wrong. I'll mess up. Maybe I think I'll make it worse. I can't put anything down because then it'll change, but in a bad way. As I consider what concerns or fears I might have, and giving myself permission to deprioritize some of this intensity that lives in my body and in my mind, because of this too big experience in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, where else in my life do I hold this principle to? Where else in really important things do I make myself hold everything all the time? Am I always holding all the food I'm going to eat? Am I always holding all of my dishes? Am I always holding all of the clothes I'm going to wear in a day? Am I always holding everything I bring in the car with me? No, that would be silly and it would get in my way. And in the case of driving, that would actually be really dangerous. I need to have everything out of my arms so that I can pay attention to the road. Hmm. And that's important because I couldn't get there safely if I'm driving and distracted by holding so much. I couldn't operate the car properly. I could get a ticket if a if an officer sees it and doesn't appreciate the way I'm juggling driving. I could make a wrong turn if I was trying to hold everything and navigate. I wonder, is it possible to find a way to trust myself, to still hold on to what I need, but to not have to hold it all at the same time? Just like I don't hold my pajamas while I'm at work in my work clothes, and I'm not holding my work clothes while I'm at the gym. I trust that I'll know when to change my clothes and to know what's appropriate at the time. Same with my dishes, same with food, same with driving. So, what's the difference here? What's the difference with this big thing, this too big of a thing? Maybe it's that I don't have a routine around it. I don't have the same structure as I do. I understand the appropriateness of clothing and food and dishes and driving. Maybe no one's ever taught me the appropriate level of holding and shuffling and organization when I'm overwhelmed, when something's too big and I can do almost nothing about it. Maybe no one's ever taught me that. So maybe what I'm actually needing is knowledge. It's okay that I'm overwhelmed. It's overwhelming. That's not what's making this impossible. All I need is knowledge. Knowledge. Okay, great. Where do I get that? Who was going to teach me how to be structured in overwhelm? Well, maybe now that I have this idea, I can write some ideas down and find a way to figure it out on my own. I've started habits and routines before. Maybe now that I see it this way, I can do it here too. Maybe, maybe no. Maybe that sounds like too much and too stressful and just another thing to do. and I need more help than that. So maybe I look online. Is it possible that someone has made a video or a blog or written an article along this line? Surely I'm not the only person ever to have needed organization and knowing how to organize a stressful situation. Finding knowledge, discovering opportunities. Okay, well, whether I feel I've got a good idea to start on my own, or I would like to gain some information from others first. How will I know? How will I know it's helping? How will I know what steps to take and try? How do I choose? As I consider what steps are good steps for me to try, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, how do I pick anything that I try? I consider it, right? I'm trying a new brand of something at the grocery store. I look at the label, I look at the packaging, maybe I look up the company, I look at the cost versus the size of the product, the availability of other products that are similar. I know how to consider things. I know how to do that. Sure, but what metric? What's my line of yes, no? Fair question. What am I looking to accomplish? I think I'm looking to accomplish feeling better, feeling relieved, feeling more supported, feeling more confident. So maybe that's my metric. That's what I compare it to. When I come up to a choice or a decision, I give myself permission to ask, do I think there's a chance this is going to make it better? This will help me feel better. And then I can decide. And if it works, great. I can keep doing it. And if it doesn't work, okay, I can stop immediately. Feeling better, making choices, trying it out, permission to make choices. And as I consider all of the ways, the small shifts and ideas that could make all the difference in helping me through this very big thing in my life, I deeply and completely accept myself. Go ahead and stop tapping and take a breath. Now, just for a moment, think about that big thing, the too big thing, and notice how it feels. Notice if it feels smaller, if it feels further away, if it feels more manageable, if you and your body, you just feel more full of peace or calmness, if you feel tingly, if you feel more rested, if you feel more positive, if you are laughing, sighing, crying, yawning, stretching, all of those are positive signs that as you were tapping and communicating with your subconscious parts of your brain, it said, oh, yes. No, I like that idea better. Let's incorporate that and switch these parts out. And it's working on that and adjusting it in real time and will continue to do so even though you're no longer tapping. So good work. Alrighty. That was a big one. And I hope that it felt like a big one. I hope that you feel much more supported with that tap. Alrighty, I'm going to go back to the comments. I'm just going to see what do we've got here because we have enough time for one more tap. Let's see, Serena, I spent most of my life dissociated, so good to know. Oh yeah, dissociation it's like a stellar gift and very intentional skill from our brain. It's actually really, really important for processing in a lot of different ways. Is it meaningful to my positive outlook seeing it through a different lens? It definitely can be, David. I would say anything that feels like an aha moment, yes. That's a very positive sign. It's a sign that your brain has all of this information and it's far, far too much for us to ever access, like consciously. We just never will. But that doesn't mean that it's not there to be accessed. So it's possible that you have all of these other potential pathways in your head and just no electricity, like literal electricity of the neurons activating and going to it. So you don't know that possibility is there because you know it's something you learned 12 years ago, 40 years ago. You don't remember, but it's still there. And if you tap and you're able to address it, a lot of times your brain can go, yes, that feels like permission. So now I'm going to connect to this, and we go, oh, of course I can. That's a great way to look at it, and that is a sign that your brain is connecting you to other information that you likely already had, and in a way that it agrees is more efficient to move forward. Yay, Karen. So amazing. Oh, nodding off a couple of times. That's actually really great. I love it because that's a good sign. I mean, unless you're just totally exhausted, it's still good that your body relaxed that much of your brain wanting to do like a hard shutdown, like a really big shift. And sometimes we get super sleepy doing EFT because the brain's like, okay, this is too much to try to organize while you're awake. Go to sleep for a minute. So if after tapping if you fall asleep during, that's great. If after tapping you're tired, go take a quick nap if you can. It's okay if you can't. It's not like you missed the opportunity. Your brain will do it when you sleep later. But yeah, naps are great signs. Yes, neurons activity. Alrighty. For our last tap today, unknown and change. Yeah, let's do that because I feel like that ties into what Karen asked for, what Joe brought up. Yeah, so the unknown and change. Okay. So as we start to tap, go ahead and focus in on if you have a specific thing for the unknown or fear of change, fear of what hasn't happened yet. And it doesn't have to be a huge fear. It could be, you've got a significant issue that's something that you're facing right now. It could be something like, man, I set this New Year's goal to really let myself relax on the weekends, and I haven't done it yet. And there's another weekend coming up, and I still don't know how to do it. Ugh, and that may not sound like much, but it could be pivotal in your life, and it's okay to spend time on it, even if it's not even the biggest thing in front of you. Tapping on anything is always overall beneficial for your body. So you don't always have to tax yourself with the biggest thing in front of you. Okay. So focus in, make your choice, and let's go. As I consider my feelings surrounding this unknown, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I consider this unknown in my life, it doesn't feel good, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though right now, unknown feels uneasy, and I would love for it to feel different, but I don't know how, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Unknown, this unknown, anxiety, fear, unease, I wonder why? Why does it feel so awful? Why do I feel such negativity? I mean, isn't it true that it could be every bit as positive as I'm afraid of it being negative? It hasn't happened yet. So, aren't all possibilities equal? Yes. No. I don't know. I wonder. Why would I not consider it equally? Is it possible I learned some point in my past that good things are hard to come by? You have to work hard for good things. You got to be a good person for good stuff. And I know I've made mistakes, and maybe I don't know. I don't meet that line. Maybe I'm not a good person. Maybe I'm not a good enough person. Maybe things have been unknown in my past, and it really turned out poorly for me. Maybe I've been in situations before where the unknown hurt me. It scared me, made me angry, took advantage of me, and I ended up hurt. I ended up feeling foolish. And maybe it took me a long time to recover. Maybe I still haven't quite recovered. Well, of course, the unknown is awful then. Like, what else could it be? What else could it be? If I've had these bad experiences in my past and these really negative terms in my head that I likely accepted as a rule, a boundary, of course, the unknown would be negative. The unknown, my feelings about the unknown. Well, what do I do? What do I do if this is where I am? I mean, I guess I could go back in my memories and my experiences and work through all of that. That could take a while. I don't know that I have that time or that energy, even if some of them feel really, really valid. Maybe it was an almost identical experience and I fully expect the negative outcome. I wonder. What can I do about that? I can't change it, the outcome, can I? I mean, it's coming. I don't know what it is yet. And maybe my intuition is right. Maybe it is going to be unpleasant. Or maybe if I thought differently, I could make a difference. I wonder, how do I look at this differently? How do I feel comfortable about my choices now and my focus, my decisions, when this is unknown? This unknown, my choices, this unknown, my effect on those choices, this unknown. I don't see an answer here in the way I'm currently viewing it. I wonder, is there any other way I could look at this where it could feel different? Yeah, no, I don't know. Okay, well, how could I explore it? If I'm open to it, if I'm interested, I'm invested in feeling differently about this, how do I get there? Well, I wonder, what's my current investment in this unknown? What am I currently investing into it? Am I investing fear? Am I investing spiraling in my imagination? Am I investing running away from it, hiding, sticking my head in the sand, proverbially? Am I refusing to acknowledge it because I'm scared of it? Or am I giving myself permission to spend time considering how it could be better, how it could end okay? Am I investing time being curious about educating myself on possibilities? Maybe this one avenue is scary, but what do people in other countries do about this sort of a thing? Are there different practices that people do that make it feel better? Even if the outcome is something I don't want, is there a different way I could manage it? Is there a different way I could approach it? So far, I have pretty limited input. How much time am I investing in that? And what if I did choose to invest in new concepts? Hmm. New concepts, the unknown, this unknown, new concepts. Okay, maybe I'm open to it. Where do I find those? Oh, gee. I think there's probably a lot of those on the internet. There are so many concepts out there now. And it's actually pretty easy to connect to people across the world. maybe I've never thought to ask how they approach this sort of unknown. What practices do they have? What uh, standards? What habits? What do they apply? And maybe as I give myself permission to invest in this unknown differently, I'll immediately find something that I love. And maybe as I give myself permission to invest my time in this unknown differently, I don't really find anything. But whether or not I feel like I find something immediately or I don't, I give myself permission to invest my time differently because I know where it leads to invest my time where I have previously. And it's not the outcome that I want. So I give myself permission to be open and curious and disciplined to hold that boundary and say, not doing that anymore. You don't go where I want. I'm going to check over here. In case there's something over here that's going to give me what I need. The unknown. My choices. The unknown. Learning my choices. And as I give myself this permission, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause and take a deep breath. Take just a moment and think about that unknown and notice how it responds or doesn't respond in your body. And all of those signs that we listed before are positive signs. If you experienced any of them, that your brain heard you and it's on board and you're already headed in a different trajectory. So congratulations and good job. We are a little bit over time. Thank you so much for sticking around with me for these last few minutes. I hope that you feel better. I hope that you feel seen and heard and supported. You are thought of and you are loved and you are cared for. And thank you for taking the time to acknowledge that and build strength in that all together with me today. I hope you have a wonderful week and I hope I get to see you next week. But if not, know that there's always a recording that you can view. I'm always available if you have questions. My email's at the top of the chat and I'll leave a video for you later on this week. And take care. I'll see you when I see you.